everything pretty. Unless you're talking about the bridge and seaport. Even from the seats in the upper decks, you can see the seashore. Tailgate function with the carne asada. Just walk from the tribal building for the Padres, I'm on it. Yeah, cause for the 619, we'll knock you down. Anything for the Brown, put it on the town. Started back rocking the Brown. Ever since we've been knocking them down. Baby said she wanna go to the game. Taught her how to say Padre gang.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 256 of the Talking Friars podcast and YouTube show. I'm your host, Ben Fenn. The Padres just lost to the Philadelphia Phillies 4-2. They are down 2-1 in this NLCS series. I'd say it was a disappointing loss. The Padres had some chances offensively to score. They didn't. The Phillies had chances to score offensively, and they did. I thought that was one of the differences in this game. Joe Musgrove didn't have his best stuff, but I thought he pitched his butt off. So I actually was fine with Musgrove tonight, to be honest. There was obviously that bad strike three call in the ninth on Profar. The check swing. Todd Tishner, I believe, was the third base umpire. He says that Profar swings at that ball four. It was ball four. Would have set up runners on first and second with no outs. I know it's the bottom of the order, but guess what? The bottom of the order has come through for the Padres in some situations. Maybe the Phillies manager, Rob Thompson, decides to not stick with Dominguez after that. I don't know. I just think it changes the inning, and I'm just sick and tired of umpires taking the bat out of players' hands, not just players on the Padres, but just players in Major League Baseball, period, especially in these big games and when it's the ninth inning. Like, you don't say that he went on a call like that. I thought, looking at the replay, I thought he didn't go. I thought he literally checked his swing. Like, that's what checking your swing is. His wrist did not turn. They did not go forward. Like, you could just tell that he didn't go. So even the guys on the Fox broadcast booth after the game, A-Rod, Kevin Burkhardt, they were like, that's a very controversial call. A-Rod was talking about how he thought the game kind of sped up on Todd Tishner there, the third base umpire. And you could probably make the case that it did. I thought it was a very, very quick, yes, he went call. For it to be that close on replay, how are you going to tell that Profar went in real time when it's that close on slow-mo? You know, I just didn't understand why he went with the call that quickly. You could take a split second to make sure you're making the right signal and you know what happened there. I just think that would have given the Padres another opportunity there in that ninth inning. That's for sure. First and second, no outs. And after Profar, who was up? You had Grish. I know he popped out, but you had Grisham, Nola. First and second, no outs. I don't know. Does the Phillies' approach change? Does Grisham try to lay down a bunt because there's a runner in scoring position, try to get runners on second and third? I don't know. The game, I think, changes there if the correct call is made. That's my initial reaction in that ninth inning. Profar gave his thoughts on that initial call. I mean, there's a bunch to get into about tonight. Let me play Jurickson Profar's thoughts here real quick, just right off the bat here on that check swing call. Here we go.
I thought it was pretty big. You know, I thought I didn't go, and it should have been a walk.
Makes a big difference first and second, nobody out versus the situation that it ended up being. Obviously, the emotion takes over there.
Yes, you know, and Grish coming up with two guys on base, you know, he can bunt. You know, he's been one of the hottest hitter in the postseason too. But yeah, I guess we just gotta hit better and come back tomorrow and try to win.
You guys had opportunities today, runners on base. What made it so difficult to score in the bullpen today?
No, we did, like I said, we didn't hit like we supposed to do today, but you know, hopefully we get it together and come back and hit better tomorrow.
Jurickson, when you went back and looked at the replay of the check swing, what did you see from the side?
I didn't have a really good chance to see it, but I'm pretty sure I didn't go. You know,
He didn't.
You know, maybe the bat was in front, but I was just getting out of the way, you know, and I didn't go. I didn't.
He's right there. It was an inside pitch, fastball in, and he was trying to get out of the way. He was not trying to swing at that pitch. You know, some check swings, they're trying to swing, and at the last minute, they're like, oh crap, that's a ball. It didn't look like to me that he was trying to swing at that pitch. He was going, and then he saw that it was in and then didn't swing, but he was just trying to get out of the way. Here's Profar continuing.
Do you think maybe you took it too far to get kicked out in a game that you guys could have tied it up and you wouldn't have
I was out already. You know, we could have we could have tied up. Two guys hit behind me. I wouldn't if I didn't do anything. I would have been out already. You know.
concerns about a possible suspension for kicking and throwing your helmet?
No chance, man. MLB doesn't suspend people for that, and we play a game and then we play with emotion. We don't play soft. We play to win, and I play with emotion. You know.
If you had to do that again, you would do the
No,
same.
probably not. But in that moment, I did it. You know. But you know, I learned from it.
Good quotes there. Yeah. I mean, screaming F you at the umpire a couple times. I don't know if that was what he wanted to do looking back on that situation, but it's definitely understandable. The guy's pissed off. You just cost him a chance to get on base and being the tying run. It would have been first and second, no outs with Trent Grisham coming up. Like Profar said, maybe he would have bunted there. I don't know. But he did cost an extra base runner, and he cost the Padres an out there. And it should have been first and second with no outs. And Grisham, who has homered 3 times already in the postseason, has come up with some clutch hits up at the plate. And he can bunt. He can do a variety of different things. Now you have a runner in scoring position instead of, I think it was just a runner on first. You know, so very disappointing ending there. I know that Grisham got out, Nola got out, but after that, it kind of felt like, okay, the Padres aren't winning this game. Because Profar, he had a good at-bat there, and he got the bat taken out of his hands. Well, one, the bat was going to be taken out of his hands anyway because it was a walk, but he got sent to the dugout when he was supposed to be sent to first base. That's the bottom line. Now, I don't want to make this all about Profar, all about that Profar call. I see people in the chat, they're a little frustrated about it, and I understand. I think the bottom line here, when you are looking at this game, the Padres did have chances offensively to come through with the timely hits, and they couldn't do it. You look at the Phillies side of things, they did come through with more of the timely hits than the Padres. You look at Gene Segura there. That was a good pitch by Joe Musgrove. Breaking ball, down and away, and Segura just floats it over Crony's head and brings in 2 runs. I think it made it 3-1 at that point. Alec Boehm come through after Musgrove gave up that double down the left field line. I think it was Castellanos maybe who he gave it up to. But they came through there with those timely hits, and the Padres didn't. Top of the 6th, there was first and third, 1 out. Bob Melvin pinch hit Josh Bell for Will Myers. I thought that was the right move, going with the matchup there. You're getting Josh Bell, a lefty, up at the plate instead of Myers, a righty. And Josh Bell, but he grounds into a double play. And that was a 3-2 game at the time. 1-run game there. And it was unfortunate. You know, the runner on third, if the double plays and grounded into, a run scores, right? And it's a tie game there. And who knows what happens after that. You go to the 8th inning. Soto's on first, no outs. Manny strikes out. Drury gets Soto to second. And Crony with 2 outs, Soto in scoring position, doesn't swing at the first strike, which was pretty much down the middle. Doesn't swing at the second strike, which was pretty much down the middle, I believe, as well. I didn't like that. I know that the at-bats previously, he wasn't swinging at the first pitch. That's usually what he does. He doesn't really swing at a lot of first pitches. Manny likes to swing at first pitches when it's there. Crony doesn't really do that. The second pitch, I think he should have swung there. He continued to battle through that at-bat, and he did kind of hit a line drive to second base. It didn't get over Segura's head. Segura made some pretty nice plays in the field as well. I know he had a very, very weird night tonight. I'll say that. Getting picked off at first, coming up with those hits. It dropping that double play ball, right, that gave the Padres their first run of the game. Wild night for him, but I just think the Padres offense, they didn't come through with those timely hits, and the Phillies offense did. Joe Musgrove, yeah, it was a really, really rough first inning. No doubt about that. I mean, starting off that inning with it was a couple walks. He could not get that breaking ball for a strike. I mean, to save his life, really. Then Ruben Niebla comes out with the mound visit before Harper's up, and he gets Bryce to ground into the double play, then gets a grounder, I believe, to short to end that inning, and only one run ends up scoring in that inning. I was pumped up when that happened. I thought, man, this might be a game changer here. The Padres, if they go on and win this game, we're remembering this first inning. I still remember it right now, but that was absolutely huge. In the bottom of the second, he stranded Bryson Stott at third base, got the strikeout high in the zone. In the fourth, he gets Castellanos to ground into that double play. Stott doubled later, I believe, in that inning. And if they didn't get that double play there, those runners would have scored, or at least the runner that would have gotten to second would have scored on that Stott double. So really, really great job by Joe Musgrove, I thought, a lot in these innings. I mean, in the sixth inning, yeah, he hung the breaking ball to Castellanos for a double, and then he scored on Bohm's liner. I saw a lot of people, they were like, oh, Ben has never watched baseball before. He should stick to uploading umpire bad calls and stuff. He doesn't know what he's talking about. When I thought that Soto shouldn't have dove for that ball. Remember, he made that bad play earlier in the game on the ball that went into the gap. Just didn't take the right angle to it. I think this one, he should have let it drop, and I think he would have been able to get to that line drive. Would have been probably a single by Bohm if he didn't dive for that ball. And there's a lot of people on Twitter, and John Schaefer as well. I love him, and he didn't agree with me. He was like, "No, what's the other option there to not dive?" And I'm like, "Let it drop in front of him, and the run doesn't score at that moment." John thought, "No, there's no way that Soto keeps who is it, Castellanos or whoever, at third base there. Like, he's going to score no matter what." I don't know. I don't agree with that, to be honest. Looking at the replay, when Soto dove, the ball gets past him, then they show the runner. He hasn't even touched third yet, right when they get to showing the runner. And the ball's well past Soto already. So if Soto lets that drop, he gets the ball. He has a strong arm. I don't know if they send him. If they do, I think they have a good chance of throwing the guy out. I don't think that's the end of the world, that play, because, again, the Padres offense just didn't come through in those big situations, or they didn't come through with the timely hits. I'll say that again. So I don't think it was the end of the world, but I personally don't think Soto should have dove for that ball, but maybe that's just me. It feels like it's just me because everyone else, disagreed. But the Padres Gold Glove nomination in right field tonight did not have his best game out there on defense. I mean, again, Musgrove tonight, I thought he pitched okay. I thought he pitched good enough. He kept the Padres in the game. That's what happened. It was 4-2, right, when he left? That's in the game. I was surprised. Here's his line. 5 2/3 innings, gave up 8 hits. Like, that's probably more than he usually allows. Walked 2 guys, struck out 5. That's kind of low on the strikeout total. Gave up that home run to Schwarber. Allowed 4 earned runs. I wanted to touch on the Phillies. That's what I wanted to do. With their bullpen, I think a positive coming out of this game for the Padres is they're going to have the bullpen advantage tomorrow. They're going to have probably the pitching staff advantage tomorrow. Now, going into this game, I thought that we had the pitching advantage because we had Joe on the mound against Suarez, Ranger Suarez. I almost said Robert again. But Suarez, I mean, he was attacking early, fastballs, just pitches in general, down in the zone, and guys were watching pitches, and then people on Twitter were like, swing the bat, and then when they did swing the bat and they were aggressive in that third inning, it was like a 1, 2, 3, like 4 or 5 minute half inning. Like, it was super quick, maybe even less than that. So, I mean, Suarez attacked. You got to give him credit for that. The Padres, they just didn't come up with those timely hits. I was surprised kind of by Rob Thompson He brought in Zach Eflin, who went 1 inning after Suarez went through 5. Didn't allow any runs, but then he went right to Alvarado and Dominguez. He had Alvarado and Dominguez cover 3 innings tonight. And that's going to be an advantage, I think, for the Padres tomorrow. I think you could see Alvarado pitch tomorrow, but I don't know if they're going to have Dominguez go back out there after throwing 34 pitches yesterday. Like, they don't have to win tomorrow's game. If they lose tomorrow's game, it's a 2-2 series. And then they can use the bullpen for game 5 and then try to go all out game 6 with Wheeler on the mound at Petco. Now, if the situation presents itself and they can go up 3-1 tomorrow, then yeah, they'll probably use Dominguez and Alvarado. Dominguez said after the game that he'd be willing to pitch. It's the postseason. He's there to pitch. But of course you're going to say that. What are you going to tell Tom Verducci or whoever was interviewing him? No, I'm not going to pitch. I'm done. I did my job tonight. I'm not going to pitch tomorrow. Like, that's just the regular player response when that is asked of him. So I don't know what the Phillies bullpen is going to do or what that's going to look like tomorrow, what Rob Thompson's decisions are going to look like there. But I think a positive you can take away here, yeah, the offense didn't come up with timely hits, but Alvarado, how many pitches he threw? He threw 27 pitches to get through 1 inning. Dominguez came in, I believe, in the middle of that 8, so 1+ innings. Dominguez got 6 outs there. So those guys, those are their 2 best relievers. And then tomorrow, they have Syndergaard, right? And who are they going to go after that? I mean, Eflin threw 17, so he could go tomorrow again as well. I would expect David Robertson, I think? I'd expect him to get into the game tomorrow for the Phillies, but that's not having Alvarado and Dominguez at full strength, right? The Padres, they didn't use Robert Suarez. They didn't use Luis Garcia. They didn't use Josh Hader. Yeah, Tim Hill was used today. Pierce Johnson, I thought both of them pitched pretty darn well. Pierce Johnson, I thought, pitched great. 1 in the 3rd innings, no runs, didn't walk anyone, struck out 2. And then Tim Hill, 1 inning, 1 hit, but didn't give up any runs, didn't walk anyone. They're going to have guys available tomorrow. More, or at least they're big guys. They're going to be ready to go tomorrow. If they have a lead, they're pitching tomorrow. Clevenger is starting game 4. That was announced, I believe, by Bob Melvin, like right after the game today. I think the Padres have the pitching advantage tomorrow. I know that Syndergaard pitched pretty well against the Braves. Sorry, I keep going to my tissues here because I think I have a cold. I'm not feeling too well, but I'm passionate about this, obviously. This is the postseason here. This is what I live for here. This is what Padre fans live for. But, yeah, just getting back to, I guess, the positive tonight. The guys continue to battle, so that's one positive. I know that's the Tingler word, the B word, sorry. But that's the word I can come up with right now. They kept fighting. Here, I'll say it like that. They kept fighting, and they have, I think, the better pitching tomorrow. But I said that going into today, and they lost. So the offense is going to have to come through tomorrow again today. They had 6th inning, 1st and 3rd, 1 out. Bell grounded into a double play. Top 8, Soto on 1st, no outs. Manny struck out. Drury got Soto to 2nd, but then Crony lined out. I thought he should have swung at least at that 2nd pitch. I think it was a fastball down the middle. 9th inning. It was unfortunate. It sucked. I thought it was a sucky call that Todd Tishner, the third base umpire, rung up Jurickson Profar, said that he went on that swing, on the check swing when it was ball 4. Should have been 1st and 2nd with no outs. Instead, there's 1 out with a runner on 1st, and then Grisham and Nola get out. The game's over. So they should have had more guys on. They should have had at least another runner on there in the go-ahead run at the plate, but they didn't. But again, Grisham and Nola got out. To be honest, when Dominguez was going to go 6 outs there, I thought the Padres were going to score at least once. I don't know how many times Dominguez has gone 6 outs this year, but it just felt like, all right, the command's not perfect. Yeah, he's throwing 100, but guys got to the 100, so I don't know. I guess I was surprised a little bit that Dominguez was able to get through those 6 outs, but he did get help from the umpire there on that Profar walk that ended up being a strikeout, So that's disappointing, but again, the offense, they just didn't come through. I mean, Crony, yeah, he had that line out to Segura. Wasn't hit super hard, but it was a good swing. I just thought he should have swung earlier in the count on probably a little bit of a better pitch. I think those were fastballs. I can understand people being mad about the Padres not swinging aggressively early in that game, first couple innings, but they tried to then in the third and didn't do anything. I forget what their approach was in the fourth and after that when Suarez was still on the mound, but look, they tried different approaches against Suarez, and Suarez, he was attacking the zone. You got to give credit to him. I mean, 68 pitches tonight from him, 44 were strikes. So that's a good percentage for him. So yeah, I mean, those are my main takeaways. I mean, Joe Musgrove, yeah, he didn't have his best stuff, but that's why he's that's why he's the guy I want on the mound. In an elimination game or a big game, Joe's the guy I want on the mound. Sure, you could argue Yu Darvish, and you could have a good argument with that, but Joe's the guy. I mean, yeah, he struggled early in that first inning. Credit to Ruben Niebla with the mound visit, but then he continued to fight, and he got through it. Struck out, 5 guys? Yeah, he gave up those 4 earned runs, but he had some tough luck, I'd say. I think getting back to the offense a little bit, not just coming up or not coming up in those timely situations where the Phillies did with Bohm and Segura. What was I going to say? I totally just blanked out what I was going to say. I mean, they went 0 for 7 with runners in scoring position tonight, left 7 guys on base. Those 2 runs that this is what it was. Sorry. Those 2 runs that they scored, they were on errors. I mean, you had Soto. One was a hit by pitch, and he ended up scoring on the Gene Segura error. Still, I don't believe how the second base umpire, Doug Eddings, not surprising, but the second base umpire called that play an out at second base somehow. No idea how. The ball was easily dropped. It wasn't on the transfer or anything like that. But yeah, just that run scores on the drop ball there by Segura. And then Hoskins had the error. I didn't know Hosmer was playing first base for the Phillies tonight. He had that error. And then Grisham got to second there, got to third. I think it was on Nola's ground out. And then was it Kim? Yeah, Kim grounded out to short and Grish scored. So it was not, a home run, or it wasn't a double in the gap that brought in a run from first or anything. It was on errors. I mean, look, I'll praise the Padres for capitalizing on those mistakes, right? I thought coming into this series, that was going to be a key, capitalizing on some of the Phillies' defensive mistakes because their defense is not good. Our defense is much stronger than theirs. But at the same time, you scored 2 runs thanks to errors, and then you can't come through with the bats in those timely situations, So I guess, they capitalized in one part of it with the errors, but then they didn't capitalize when they got runners on. They didn't get those timely hits like the Phillies did. So those are my main takeaways from today. I'll get to the chat. If you want to support the channel, feel free to use the super chat button. And on regular videos, you can use the super thanks button. I want to see if there's any good quotes here post game. You already heard from Profar. Here is Juan Soto. I guess this is from 97.3 The Fan. I'm just playing it. I haven't heard it yet. I guess he discussed Profar's check swing in this video as well. So here's that.
How was the energy here tonight? Pretty fun. I mean, obviously they're not rooting for you, but how fun is it to play in front of these types of crowds in the stadium?
I mean, it's just great. Every time you go to a place that is loud and electric, you want to give your best, even if they don't cheer for you. It's pretty cool when you make them quiet, but still, it's very good ballpark, very good fan base.
Probably a bullpen day for them tomorrow. You guys have seen their bullpen a little bit now. Is it going to help over the rest of the series, just getting a chance to see some of the back end of their bullpen, especially have more reps?
I mean, yeah, we got a pretty good shot. I mean, everybody wants to get a really good starter in the mound, and more in these games that is really important.
I think we just got to go out there and try to take every at bat as the last one. Just try to fight for everyone and do our job.
Profar check swing. Obviously, that was a pretty important part of the game. You guys obviously didn't think he went around. Did you have a chance to take a second look at it or see what was going on?
I mean, it is what it is. They make calls. I mean, I think they have the best view from the dugout. But whatever decision they make, it's because it was close or anything like that. I don't know. It's just pretty frustrating moment, pretty tough moment. But we can blame it on that. We got to keep grinding.
Do you think you came to that ball, Juan? Did you at any point the one you dove for, did you feel like you were going to get it?
It was pretty close. I was trying to move and be in a good spot. I just think late, but I was pretty close. I know even if I don't dive for it, the run probably going to score. So I try my best to dive for it. It is what it is. I really try my best because, like I say, if I don't dive, probably the run is going to score easy anyway. So I just try to dive to see if I can catch it.
All right, so there's Juan Soto. Him talking about that diving play there, and look, now hearing from him and him thinking that, yeah, that run was probably going to score easily from his viewpoint, I can definitely appreciate him diving for that ball and giving his full effort there. I definitely appreciate when guys dive for balls and give effort like that. I just thought in the moment, I thought that the Phillies runner hadn't even hit third yet when the camera showed him, and the ball was well past Soto already. So I thought that they would have had a chance. Or Soto would have. Good arm. I thought they would have had a chance to get him. I don't think he would have scored it easily. But not Profar. Soto, he's the one playing, obviously. So he has the better vantage point. He's the one right there. So I'm not going to focus on that too much. Again, the Padres offense, they had opportunities to come through, and they'll tell you they didn't. And getting back to Jurickson Profar, Soto didn't think he swung. The Padres didn't think he went. I didn't think he went. I'm sure a lot of fans in here, fans on Twitter, fans on social media, fans watching the game that aren't on social media, they probably were pissed off too and didn't think that he went. And, getting back to Profar's reaction, him saying F you at the umpire a couple times. Okay. I mean, it's a playoff game. He's pissed off. He didn't think that he went. I'm totally fine with the way that he acted. When you're an umpire, you know that that's coming at you when you make a decision like that. It was not a clear, yes, he went. I think you should have just said, no, he didn't went. You don't put the call in your hands, I don't think, as an umpire, when you're not the home plate umpire, when it's that close. And you know the pitch is inside. You know he's not trying to swing. Okay, that's ball 4. First and second, no outs now. That's what the situation should have been. And it wasn't. But again, they did have opportunities leading up to that 9th inning to come through, and they didn't. I'm going to get to the chat here. Again, tomorrow, it's going to be Clev on the mound for the Padres. I don't believe the Phillies have announced their starter yet. I could be wrong, but I haven't seen it. It could be Noah Syndergaard. That's probably who it's going to be. I think after Clevenger tomorrow, you're going to see Nick Martinez at some point, maybe Sean Manaea. I don't think Bob Melvin's going to tell the media that because he doesn't want to give that game plan away to the Phillies and help Rob Thompson construct his lineup maybe a different way. But I think you might see Sean Manaea. I think that you will see Nick Martinez because he's had a couple days off now after pitching 2 days in a row in the first 2 games. And you're going to see Hader, Suarez, and Garcia if the game's close, I would think. You can't go down 3-1. Yeah, you have Darvish in game 5, and you can win that game, I guess. I mean, yeah, you could win that game, but going down 3-1, now you have to go win the next 3 games in the series. That's going to be hard to do when you're going to have to face Wheeler game 6, Nola game 7. Yeah, it's at home, and I wouldn't think Wheeler's going to pitch as good as he did in game 1. He absolutely dominated, but it's just the thing of getting down 3-1. You don't want to do that. You're asking for trouble if you're going to get down 3-1. So tomorrow, I think the Padres are going to treat this like a game 7 kind of thing here, a must win or an elimination game. With Darvish on the mound the next day, they can expect 6-7 innings from him. So empty out that bullpen if you have to. Definitely Suarez, Hader, Garcia. They can pitch back-to-back days tomorrow and then Sunday in Philly. And you're just fighting to even up this series. Again, going down 3-1, that's very, very hard to come back from. Just like being down 2-0. If they would have had to win 4 of their next 5 games, if they would have lost game 2, that would have been tough. So yeah, definitely. I think you definitely are going to have some urgency to win tomorrow. Losing today, it wasn't the end of the world, but it's still disappointing because you had Joe Musgrove on the mound. Whenever you lose with Joe Musgrove on the mound, that's the first time the Padres have lost this postseason with Joe Musgrove on the mound, by the way. Whenever you do that, it feels like you wasted a game there. You wasted a potential win because Joe's usually that good. He was not great tonight. I think he'd tell you that. But he did still keep the Padres in the game, and they couldn't come away with the win. And now you have a game with Clevenger tomorrow, and you don't know after that. I don't think the fan base is super confident in Clev. I'm confident in the team's chances of winning. I mean, maybe that doesn't seem right. Well, if you're not confident in the starter, Ben, then why are you confident in the team's chances of winning tomorrow? I'm confident that the offense is going to be able to score some more runs tomorrow. The Phillies, they're throwing pretty much a bullpen game. Syndergaard is not the Noah Syndergaard that he used to be, assuming that he starts tomorrow. And I would think that Clevenger is going to pitch better than he did against the Dodgers in Game 1 of the National League Division Series. And the Padres have all their big guys in the bullpen that can come in after that. The Phillies, don't know if they do. And, those bridge guys from the starter to, Dominguez and who's their other big guy? Castillo. Those bridge pitchers, they're going to have to pitch at some point tomorrow, I would think. Because they're not going to have their starter go 7 innings, right? Or 6 innings. So, at least I wouldn't think Syndergaard does. So, I think the Padres are in a good spot to win tomorrow's game. I thought they were in a good spot to win today's game, though. So, we don't know anything, really, right? It's the beauty of sports. Don't know what's going to happen. I can only sit here and tell you my thoughts going in and what I'm expecting to have happen and what I think is going to happen. Clevenger, here's his thoughts on starting tomorrow for the Padres.
Working, feeling healthy and getting sharp for now like this.
Oh no, that was huge. This whole week has been huge. I mean, it was it's kind of been a coin flip. I feel like the past couple of weeks, and then coming into this one, it was really encouraging what me and the training staff were able to do.
Pretty excited about getting this opportunity and knowing how important this game is.
Yeah, I definitely want another crack at this. I know the first one didn't go too well. I wasn't too sharp or competitive, so just feel good and feel like I can be competitive tomorrow.
As far as being able to go deep, you feel like you'll have the endurance too. Just hey, give me the ball, see how far you can go tomorrow.
Oh yeah, I haven't had that much time off, but so yeah, I still got it in the tank. Yeah.
I apologize if you've been asked this, but how do you assess the team from what you've seen so far, the Phillies?
They're a good team. I mean, pretty complete through and through. They grind the same way we do. But I mean, every team has its holes, so it's just going to be about execution.
Yeah, execution. He didn't execute his pitches against the Dodgers in Game 1 there. I know that we didn't expect Clevenger to go lead the Padres to a win in that game, really, with the Dodgers ace Julio Urias on the mound in that Game 1. But, I mean, that first inning was pretty bad. He didn't make it through 4 innings, right? Did he make it through 3 even? I don't even think he made it through 3. I know he didn't make it through 4. So, he had what I remember from that game, I mean, the mislocation to Will Smith. He had the Trey Turner home run mislocation. I think the double he gave up to Gavin Lux. I thought that was either bad pitch selection or why is Nola asking for that fastball to be up in the zone like that? Because Clev hit his spot there and Lux just hit, doubled down the right field line. Yeah, I think it just comes down tomorrow to execution. I mean, 5 innings, is that too much Maybe that should be the expectation. The expectation should probably be 4, and then maybe they go Manaea after that or Martinez. I have no idea. They just try to empty the pen after that, and they don't pitch Manaea, and they save him for a wacky extra inning game or something. I don't know. But yeah, Clev, I think he's going to be better against the Phillies than he was against the Dodgers. But that fastball was really flat, and it seemed like it was easy to hit if you were a Dodger hitter in that game 1. So he's definitely he's going to have to be better. No doubt about that. Here's Joe Musgrove on what he thought went wrong tonight. Again, wasn't his best stuff tonight. First inning did not start off good at all. But Ruben Niella came out with the mound visit, got out of that first inning, allowing 1 run on that Schwarber home run. Gave up a few more after that. He kept the Padres in the game, though. Here's Joe.
Yeah, really hard time getting a consistent feel for anything, really. Honestly, I feel like I limited the damage really well for how I felt. I had a hard time commanding. I think it was just ultimately lack of execution, consistency of execution. I made some big pitches in some moments where I needed to, but also made some good pitches that I thought they, put good swings on and put the ball in play, but ultimately just not execution, consistently enough throughout the night.
That first inning, Ruben came out and talked to you. It looked like you maybe started to get a little bit better feel for some of the off speed. What was he talking to you about at that point?
Yeah, damn it, just trusting the spin. A little bit of mechanical stuff that he saw, but ultimately just, trusting my stuff. I pitched away from the spin a little bit early in the game just because.
I want to interrupt what Joe's saying right there. Talking about Ruben coming out, mechanical stuff. Bob Melvin did tell, I think it was Ken Rosenthal during the game, that Joe was kind of not using his legs there at the beginning, too tall. I believe that's what Bomel said, if I remember correctly. And so I think that's what the mechanical adjustment was. Bomel said that during the game.
I feel like I had a good feel for it. But I think Harp was up at the time, and my stuff's been really good against him in the past, my spin. So ultimately, just a little bit of a game plan and trusting my stuff.
It seemed like there were also less four-seam fastballs tonight. Is that by design, or were some of them just cutting? They didn't look like four-seamers.
Yeah, some of them were cutting. A lot of them were reading as cutters just because I was pulling them across the zone. I think as the game went on, I got a little better hitting the up and away spot to some of the lefties. But ultimately just not very good command with the four-seam. Made it tougher to set up the off-speed.
All right, so there's Joe. Like he said, I mean, there's not a whole lot to add after that about his performance. I already gave my thoughts. He didn't really have a feel there. It was obvious, in that first inning. Then the mechanical adjustments, and like he said, or pretty much like he said, I'm not quoting him, but he definitely kept the Padres in that game, and he was able to grind through it as best as he could with the stuff that he had. As a pitcher, you're not going to have your best stuff every night. I assume that's the same thing as a hitter at the plate. Facing Major League pitching, you're going to have some bad nights, but can you get up there and put together a good at-bat for your team? Could you at least work a walk, get on base sometimes when the situation presents itself? That's what it's about. And Joe, I was proud, to be honest, of Joe's performance tonight based on the circumstances, how it started, some of the situations he had to get out of. Do you want 7 innings, no runs like he did against the Mets? Of course. That's not going to happen all the time. The Phillies, they do have a very good offense. They're here for a reason, just like the Padres are here for a reason. And as I've said countless times already in this episode here, tonight, the Phillies came through with those timely hits, and the Padres did not. All right, let's get to the chat here. I'm behind here, so bear with me. I will get to all of the comments that I feel like are worth going over here. So I appreciate everyone for tuning in here. If you have any comments, any questions, feel free to put them in the chat. I will eventually get to them. Let's start with Samuel here. He says, Profar had every right to be pissed. That was ball 5. Home plate umpire missed the ball off the plate. Yeah. And obviously the focus is on the check swing, as it should be. He checked his swing. That's what it was. He did not swing there, I don't think. I think the replay showed that he did not swing. He was trying to get out of the way, and he had every right to be pissed off. And for anyone that's a Padres fan that watches Padre games nightly all season long, regardless of the score, you know that Profar, he plays with passion. You know, there's that Twins game that sticks out in my head earlier this year. I think it was in the summer at Petco, where Profar, I think he was at the plate. He singled up the middle, hit the umpire, and that would have been the game-tying run. Padres ended up losing that game. It wasn't close because I think Morejon sucked when he came in that game, but that would have tied the game at that point. As that after that inning was over and they were still losing, Profar was pissed off at that second base umpire. You know, get out of the way. Eventually, it looked like he apologized and they were good, but he plays with passion. He's not afraid to say what he thinks, and I love that about him. There's been times where he's signing autographs for fans, and there's people that sell them, and he's like, "What are you guys doing here?" He's not afraid to speak his mind. I know that's not the game related, but I observed that a few days ago. Just he's not afraid to speak his mind. He's genuine, authentic, and I love that about him. So I don't know if I would have said "F you" to the umpire a couple times, but like he was already out. It was a ninth inning. He's not. MLB's not going to suspend him. They're not going. Maybe they'll fine him, but he's not going to. They're not going to suspend the starting left fielder of the Padres in the NLCS just because he yelled "F you" to an umpire that can't even hear Profar saying that because the crowd is so loud. You know, on a call the umpire shouldn't have made, or a bad call by the umpire. You know, they're not going to suspend him. Mike says this offense was flat. First and second, nobody out. I don't think it would have mattered. Phillies gave them the 2 runs they got. That's true. Yeah, I mentioned that. I mean, yeah, they got their 2 runs the Padres did tonight on those errors. But you do have first and second, no outs. I'd rather have first and second, no outs than a runner on first. I believe that's what the situation was. I'd rather have first and second, no outs than a runner on first with 1 out. You know, you don't have a runner in scoring position anymore. You don't have the game-tying run at first. You have it at the plate. That guy has to homer if you want to tie it right then and there. So I understand the point, but I don't think you can argue that call did have an impact in that 9th inning, definitely. Who knows what the Phillies would have done if that ends up being a walk? Does Dominguez... What happens there? Does he kind of unravel and not be able to throw strikes after that because he's pissed off about the call that he thinks that call should have been strike 3 if the umpire called it right? Or maybe he doesn't finish the game. I don't know, but it did change it there in that 9th inning. Yeah, David Samuel, it says here, I think if Profar walked in that situation, Phillies would have put David Robertson into pitch. Yeah, he was warming up in the pen. I'd rather face Robertson than Dominguez throwing 100, Someone in the chat here saying Clevenger on the mound tomorrow. Bob hopes he can survive 1 to 2 innings. Then we'll go Martinez. No. There's no way. I don't think that. I don't think. Really, Bomel said that? I don't think he said that. That he's going to go 1 or 2 innings only? No, he's going to go at least 3, I think. I mean, they probably want him to go like 4. And then you can go to Martinez. But so if he only goes 2 innings, then you're saying that Bomel wants Martinez to go like 4 innings? I don't think so. Hang on. I'll play the audio of Bomel's press conference here. I don't think that's right. Maybe you were watching it. I haven't watched it yet. But I don't think that's right. Hang on, sorry, there's ads. My bad. Hang on, we'll let those ads play. Mike, meanwhile, here, we'll get to Bomel, but he says Soto has shown This whole time with us, he is an average defender with lame arm, bad routes, bad decisions. Sometimes bad routes. I think he has a pretty good arm. I disagree with the lame arm thing. Here is Bomel after the game.
Talk about the mechanics of the sixth inning and leaving them in for Castellanos.
I thought he pitched well. It was miraculous. He got out of the first inning like he did, and I thought Ruben did a great job calming him down. I had Hill up for Stott after with 2 out, nobody on. I thought Joe could get the next guy out.
Was Garcia up in the beginning of that inning, and then
Depending on where we went, yeah, depending on how the inning went. But once he got 2 out, it was just gonna be Hill for Stott.
after you got through this game, what are your pitching plans for tomorrow?
Kleb's gonna start tomorrow.
What do you expect out of him, or what could be kind of the best?
We'll just see how it goes. Take it batter to batter.
How much does it hurt to not have these options on the bench? You have one left-handed batter, and when you spend him, he's done.
Yeah, well, I mean, we thought it was a pretty good matchup at the time. We feel like we have a good lineup throughout, 1 through 9. So, in theory, we don't need a lot of help. But that's what our roster looks like.
I know it just happened, but have you seen the replay of the Profar check swing? What's your vantage point on it?
Yeah, it's blocked out a little bit. Originally, it looked like it might have gone, but then you go back and look at it. Maybe the bat didn't get out there. I mean, it's close call, tough one, but maybe not.
At that moment in the game, is it?
Yeah, it's a big moment. Obviously, that's 2 out, nobody on.
Soto had a couple plays in right field today. There were maybe tough plays, the one-liner in front of him, the one to his right. But what do you kind of make of the way he played those today?
Yeah, he was trying to be aggressive. Those are tough plays. Those are 50-50s, both of them. So, in a scenario like this, he's trying to get to the ball, make a good play, and get it out.
Early on, was the plan to sort of wait out Suarez and see how his command was? It's kind of a little bit of a passive approach early on.
Yeah, I mean, he walked some guys, trying to get the ball up, not try to hit it on the ground. He didn't end up walking anybody, so his command was pretty good. We only got 2 hits off him regardless, but we were trying to make him throw the ball over the plate.
Hey, Skip, you talked how much the crowd at Pickle Park helped you guys the first couple of games and really in the division series as well. Is it the opposite effect when you come into a situation like this? It's really hostile towards you?
Well, I think it's beneficial for them. I think when you're on the road, just you try to make it just end up being noise. So, when you're at home, you want to get some momentum from it. On the road, you're just playing. Go back over here on the left. I'm sure it helped them. Yeah.
Were you surprised at all that Ranger Suarez came out after just 5 innings? And is there any silver lining that you got all 3 of their high leverage relievers today? And
yeah, maybe to have them throw some pitches down at the bottom, sure. But I think that was probably their plan today, was to get 5 out of the starter and turn it over to the guys that they used in leverage situations.
Hey, Bob, do you have pitching plans for Sunday too yet, or is that still up in the air?
Let's get by tomorrow, and then we'll figure out Sunday.
You have an idea?
Yes, I have an idea.
If it stays in rotation?
Yeah, okay, we'll see how it goes. Okay, thanks, Bob.
I don't know what that reporter didn't understand about Bomel there. Bomel was like, we'll get there when we get there. And he's like, well, do you have an idea? Yeah, I have an idea. I'm not going to tell you, but I have an idea. Some reporters, man. It's like, he's not going to give it to you. So just stop. All right. So talking about that comment I saw about Clevenger going 1 or 2 innings for game 4. That's not what Bomel said. Maybe I'm misunderstanding the comment, but that's not what Bomel said. He said we're just gonna get what we can get out of him. I'm hoping that's like 4 innings, and then they go Manaea for a few, or they go Nick Martinez for a few, and then they go, Garcia, Suarez, Hader. Just empty the tank there, because I think tomorrow it's the biggest game of the series for the Padres. You do not want to go down 3-1, and then you have to win 3 games in a row, facing Wheeler and Nola games 6 and 7. I know you have Snell and Musgrove 6 and 7, but that's still a very tough ask, with this Philly offense. So tomorrow's going to be big. Mike says the Phillies manager made the right decision to go all out to win tonight. 70% with the second win, move on to the World Series. Oh, yeah. So 70% of people that, or 70% of teams that take game 3 in a 1-1 series go on to the World Series. Or no, I think they go on to win the series. I think it's just best of 7s. So yeah, I think if you're the Phillies, yeah, you go all out because tomorrow's not guaranteed that you're going to get a win there, and you have a chance to beat Joe Musgrove and go ahead 2-1. Darvish pitching Sunday. Bowman hasn't said that, but that's who would be pitching. Yeah, you go all out and do it. I have no problem with the way the Phillies went about it, and they just went all in. And look, again, that's what I would do if I were the Phillies. I was surprised that they went 6 out. That Dominguez got 6 outs, to be honest. But I wasn't surprised that they went for it that way. I mean, it's pretty clear. Kind of like the Mets series, Buck Showalter trusted Edwin Diaz. That's pretty much it. Maybe Seth Lugo a little bit. But this Phillies series, it's Dominguez and it's the other one. Excuse me, Castillo. So, yeah, I wasn't surprised the way that Thompson went after this. And props to them. They went out and beat Musgrove. They got the win, and now they're up 2-1. They have the advantage. Alvarado. I keep saying Castillo. My bad. I'm thinking Jose Castillo. No, Jose Alvarado. My bad. They went with Alvarado and Dominguez. Those are the two guys Thompson trusts the most, and it's kind of like Suarez and Hader, right? You're going to them. If you have a chance, like tomorrow, Melvin's going to Hader and Suarez and Garcia probably. Mike says Grisham no hits this series, 0 for 11, back to normal, 5 left on base last game, including strike 3, called strike 3 with bases loaded. Too bad he has to play. I mean, yeah, you could pick apart Grisham, but again, like they wouldn't be here without him. I don't think he's just been that huge. I think it's just the offense really as a whole, right? They went 0 for with runners in scoring position this year in this game, right? 0 for 7? Left 7 guys on base. So it's not just him. I think it's focusing on the offense as a whole. Yeah, 0 for 7 runners in scoring position. I think it's Bell grounding into the double play. I think, yeah, Crony, he did have that liner to Segura, but it wasn't a hit. I think Manny striking out there. I think no, that's pretty much, yeah, it's Crony and Manny. And Bell grounding into the double play there in the 6th. And then the 9th, Nola Grisham getting out after Profar's check swing. They just didn't come through. It was more of a team today. It's not one guy. SoCal Steve says we expect Clevenger not to do good tomorrow. I don't really agree with that. I don't expect him to like dominate. Excuse me, sorry. Not feeling too great. I don't expect Clevenger to dominate, but I don't expect him to be as bad as he was against the Dodgers. So, in the middle there. Rams fan says, whoever wins game 4, I really think wins series at the deciding game. Maybe. I mean, if the Phillies win game 4 tomorrow, you would definitely say that. If the Padres win game 4, it's 2-2. Darvish game, 5? So, yeah, I think you'd give the advantage probably to the Padres going back home for 6 and 7 if necessary. So, yeah, I think the winner of tomorrow is the favorite. I think more so about it being the deciding game is if the Padres lose tomorrow and then the Phillies are up 3-1. Like, that's a very tough hill to climb, you know? Especially when you're facing Wheeler and Nola again in 6 and 7. My Uncle Nick says, got to swap Crone and Soto in the lineup. Soto hits better with runners in scoring position. Did you not watch the Dodger series, Nick? What? I'm fine with the way the lineup is. They just didn't come through. I mean, Crony, did you not see what he did in game 2 against the Dodgers? He had the ground ball to first base. That was the go-ahead run. Then, or was it the tying run? I forget. I think that run, it was either tying run or the go-ahead run, the ground ball to first. And then he scored the go-ahead run on the Profar single, and then he hit that home run to give the Padres insurance. And then in Game 4 against the Dodgers, he came up with a hit that Padre fans are going to remember for the rest of their life with runners in scoring position. Brought in the 2 go-ahead runs to make it 5-3 to cap off that 5-run inning. So, no, Crone, he's done amazing with the bases loaded this year. He can hit with runners in scoring position. I'm fine with the lineup. They just didn't come through today with the timely hits like the Phillies did. Rams fan says, you got sick going to those playoff games and screaming, being with 40,000 screaming fans. Someone is sick near you. Maybe. I mean, I was fine yesterday, and now I'm coughing all over the place. Have the sniffles. I don't know. I think I'll be fine. Being with those 40,000 people, 45,000 or whatever it is, it's amazing. Juan says this just feels like a 7-game series. I hope too. I mean, I think it's going to get at least to a Game 6. The Padres, I don't see them losing all 3 games in Philadelphia, especially with Darvish Game 5. It's going to get to a Game 6, I think, and then the Padres, they're going to have to show up against Wheeler. I think that's what it's going to come down to. I hope they win these next 2 games, so if they show up against Wheeler, they win the series. They don't have to go face Nola as well. Juan asks, who thought this was going to be an easy series? Yeah, I mean, yeah, Mills says that same thing. If anyone thought this was going to be an easy series, you're way wrong. I agree. I don't think anyone really thought this was going to be an easy series unless you're just way too overconfident in this team. The Phillies are a good team. They have a good pitching staff, good top of the rotation, good back end of the bullpen. Sounds like the Padres. They have depth in their lineup going into this series. Sounds like the Padres. An ability to score runs in bunches. Sounds like the Padres. Very similar teams. I think everyone thought this was going 6 or 7, and it probably will. I think it's going to go at least 6. Sorry, putting that person in timeout. Saul says, must win tomorrow, Ben. Yeah, I mean, I certainly think so. Obviously, it's not a must win because the series isn't over. But yeah, like I've said multiple times, being down 3 games to 1, that is a big hill that you have to walk or sprint up because you have to win 3 games in a row. 2 of them against Wheeler and Nola. I don't want to make them seem like, I don't know, Koufax and Bob Gibson, but Wheeler, that's what he looked like in Game 1, and Nola pitched well until that big inning, right? So I don't think he's going to give up that many runs when he faces the Padres again. Maybe that's just me, but yeah, winning tomorrow is huge because then it's 2-2, and you can go back to Petco after Game 5 with Darvish on the mound being up 3-2, instead of down 3-2 if they lose tomorrow, assuming they win Game 5 with Darvish. Jared says, rough game, some bad calls, but at the end of the day, we just didn't play good enough. We need to win at least one in Philly to bring it back home for the win. Yep, I agree. There were some bad calls. Musgrove wasn't his best. Got the bullpen pitch good. Offense just didn't play good enough. They got some runs thanks to the Phillies defense. They didn't actually bring in runs themselves, really. Big, real runs. Yeah, I see a comment here. What were the Philly fans chanting the Padres? I don't know. I saw the 97.3 the fan account say something about the Philly fan chants, but I have no idea. I think I heard Manny sucks, but that's not original. Dodger fans chant that, and then when they chant that, he hits a bomb off Kershaw in the postseason. Um, yeah, that's the one I heard. I think. I don't know about the other ones. I sure hope they weren't chanting like cheater or anything at Musgrove, because obviously he wasn't cheating against the Mets. That's clear. It's been proven. Um, so I hope they didn't, watch Brian Kenny and follow along with that. I hope it wasn't too much, like too aggressive or too like personal, because I have heard stories of fans, Philly, getting personal with players in the bullpen and stuff. All right, I think that's gonna do it. Talking Friars episode 256, Game 3 reaction here. The NLCS Padres down 2-1. Big game tomorrow. Big game tomorrow. Clevenger on the mound. It says here that the Phillies are gonna have Bailey Falter start. I think he's just a reliever. Maybe that's a one-inning thing to get through Profar, Soto, and Manny, or Kim Soto and Manny. Then maybe they go to Syndergaard. But Clev on the mound for us. 4:45 the first pitch. We'll have the pregame show before the game. Keep the faith. The series is not over yet. Just like after the Game 1 loss, it's not over yet. But tomorrow is a very important game to win. All right. Enjoy your night, everyone. Go Pods. See ya.